everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make these little plastic canisters look really pretty. So I'm going to show you how to cover the lid, and you can use these for your buttons. So what I did on this was, if you're going to put buttons in them, I made the lid the color of the buttons. One thing that I like about these, and by the way, I bought them at Michael's Crafts. They were 99 cents a piece. They were in the front of the store. If you have a small space, either you're going to put them in a cabinet or maybe you're going to put them up on a shelf above your sewing machine, these are stackable. So you can stack them on top of each other to save space. Now let's get started. This is the lid to the jar, and you need to measure the diameter, and that's going across this way. That's the diameter. So just place a ruler or tape measure and measure the top of your lid. Measure the sides. Now this is just slightly over a ½ inch. So now you need to add the measurements together. You have a ½ inch on this side, going 3 inches across, and a ½ inch down this side, and that equals 4 inches. So I already have a template that's 4 inches. So all you need to do is look for something that's roughly that size, and as you can see, it is larger, and you want it that so that it will cover all of the top and the sides. I just went through my pile of scraps and pulled out colors that I thought would work well. And I like to cut at least 3 at a time. So I'll draw a circle on the back side of just one of the pieces of fabric. And so just trace around it. Then place a few pins to hold all the layers of fabric together, and then either using a pair of scissors, or I'm going to use this little small rotary cutter, and cut right on your drawn lines. Next step is to glue the fabric to the lid. I don't find that using hot glue works very well. It usually doesn't lay down flat enough, and it's very lumpy. So I'm using a clear gel tacky glue, and you can get this at Walmart. So I like to just put a small drop in the middle and just kind of mush it around a little bit. And then take your lid and turn it upside down and center it, making sure you have equal distance going out of your fabric, and then just push it down. Then I like to let it set for just a couple of minutes so that it doesn't shift around when I'm trying to glue the sides. Then go ahead and put a line of glue all the way around the edge of the fabric. Now make sure you're pressing down on the center of the lid so that it doesn't shift around. And then just slowly bring up the edge of the fabric. Now the tacky glue doesn't dry real fast, so you have plenty of time to push it down and get it arranged. So now it should look like this. Now don't worry if your fabric doesn't come all the way down to the bottom edge, because that's going to get covered up. But if any of your fabric is hanging down below the edge, just use some small scissors and clip it off. I'm using 3/8 inch wide ribbon to cover this edge. So just make sure you're getting a ribbon that can cover most of the sides of your lid. And put a line of glue on one side of it. Then take your lid, and you want to cut your ribbon long enough so that the ends overlap a little bit. And all I do is just set the lid down, and I try to line it up with the bottom edge of the lid. Let me turn this a little bit. Now this can get a little messy if you're not careful. And then just roll it along until you get all the way around. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. Now tacky glue takes a while to set up and dry, so I would just set it on top of something and then let it dry for maybe 30 minutes. So as you can see, it's a great way to store buttons or really anything else you want to put in them. So you can coordinate the colors. So you can have yellow fabric for the yellow buttons, pink for the pink buttons. And one thing I want you to notice on this pink one here, I didn't have any pink ribbon. So the fabric had white in it, so I decided to use white ribbon. But the pink fabric kind of showed through. So when I get a chance, I'll get some pink ribbon and just glue it right over that. Now, let me show you some other things you can do with these little plastic canisters. These are a little bit smaller. I found these at Walmart a few years ago. I don't know if they still carry them. And it came in a pack with maybe 10 inside. So in these, I've put snaps and grommets, or large eyelets, I should say, and then buttons. But because there is some polyfill stuffing here up on the top, you can use them to store your straight pins and then have the top as a pin cushion. I like creating things to store all of my sewing items in it. Now you could also cover little cardboard boxes, and I have a tutorial on how to do that. And it'll tell you how to measure any size box. I've done it from real tiny to really large. And in this, I found it really easy to store my little fabric clips. I love decorating my sewing space. It makes it so much more enjoyable to work in an environment that looks pretty. And these are cubes you can make that fit fat quarters. So it gives you all the dimensions so that your fat quarters will fit nicely in there. Now, these are all my reds, so you can make each cube a different color. Yellow for yellow fabric, and then if you want to, you can glue little buttons on the outside. Now I have a lot of thread, so I have big racks on the wall to hold my thread. But maybe you just have some thread and you wish you had a nice way of storing it. You could take a small basket and make a really pretty liner and then place your thread in there. Or any other items. Maybe you have just a small amount of scraps, or put your zippers in there. Any items that you seem to use the most. In my sewing room, I always have a box of tissues because I poke myself with pins. So I use the tissue to wipe my hand off. So you could make that box of tissue look pretty too. So I have two different sizes on how to make little covers to make your tissue box look pretty. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you decide to start decorating your sewing space so that it looks more inviting. I have many things to help you decorate your sewing room, from sewing machine covers to sewing machine placemats and many, many different pin cushions. Now, if you're interested in doing some of the other projects I showed you earlier in this video, then look below your YouTube screen for those video links. You scroll down to the description section, expand it open by clicking on the down arrow or show more, and it will open up and you'll see all kinds of links appearing. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.